The views and opinions expressed by the participants of this broadcast are their own and not necessarily shared by the sponsors, organizations, or individuals mentioned in this broadcast. It will contain topics and language unsuitable for younger listeners, but apparently good for younger guests. Parental discretion is advised. You're listening to 3231 Nomad Radio. Nomad Radio. We are live. Are you talking, Ben?
No, sir. I have not. I have not spoken.
Holy
jeez.
moly.
Oh, look at that.
What a great start.
Oh, I'll control
It
myself.
is Wednesday. It is April 27th, 2022. I am Matt, and here we go. Hi, I'm Matt.
Hi.
That's Ben. And you're watching 3231. This is Nomad Radio. Hello, everybody.
How's everybody doing?
We kind of like jumping right into this, making this work. Let's see. Let me just make sure the audio's looking good.
Yeah,
Video's looking good.
All right.
It's almost like we know what we're doing.
It's getting there.
If anybody's we got 4 people watching right now. So if
Oh.
anybody in the live chat, you can actually talk to us. You can type in the chat. We will hear you. We will see. Well, we won't hear you. We'll see you. No, I think that's you.
No, that was our special guest kicking the mic stand.
Oh, but nobody else can hear. Only we can hear them.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, how about you stop doing
So she's just kicking it like crazy.
that? Ooh, that's a weird giggle out of our guest there. Hey,
what's
David.
going on, David? Hello, sir.
David has joined us in the chat.
David, do us a favor and send this out, if you wouldn't mind. Share this out to everybody. Would love to get people in the live chat. I just talked to a whole bunch of people on the TikToks and made some new friends, so it'd be nice to get them on board and hanging out with us as well.
Share it like an 11-year-old girl's life depends on it.
Because it does.
Because it does.
But let's get right into it. Again, you're watching Nomad Radio here, 3231. You can look us up all over the interwebs. We're on TikTok now, doing live chats, live streams, I should say. I am, at least. I'm
not quite there yet. Jamie has to do some magic to my account to get to where I can live stream.
That'd be cool, though.
Mm-hmm.
To promote and everything. And, let's start right away. Ben, if you would like to introduce us to our guest really quick.
Absolutely. We are really happy to finally have a third person joining us.
A live guest.
Yeah. And everybody, my daughter, Abigail Ray. There we go.
Joining us live in studio.
No, you could speak. Hello?
Yes, we got you. You're on the air. I'm sorry. No, that's
Oh,
right.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was supposed to signal her when she was on.
I'll signal you, Ben. Just sit still. Well. So, yeah.
I have a cat head.
We have a cat joining us. Ben is allergic to cats, but not allergic to his daughter.
No.
Interesting enough. Where did you get that awesome mask?
Like $10. It was very cheap, but it was very nice.
It looks awesome. It looked great.
Yeah, they had 2. They had
It was a wolf one, and I chose the hat one because it looked
Why didn't you get both?
Well, the wolf one was kind of compressed. Like,
Yeah,
it looked like it had
it was
sustained
like
a little structural damage.
Animal cruelty?
Yeah.
Well, that's
So
adorable.
she definitely could have gotten both. I mean, I would have accepted both of them as a.
but I would spend $20 of my birthday money.
Mhm.
I
Well,
wouldn't want that.
This was a her money birthday gift.
But
Yeah.
you could have gotten the other
Bought
one.
the other one.
I mean, that would have been a wise investment.
Maybe.
We are making some crazy investments in
Mhm.
the entity that is 3231.
We are.
Yep.
Yes. Content creation, it has become our number one priority of 3231.
That's
We are
great.
making that investment to make more content.
Now,
and
Abby, you're looking to be a content creator, right? Are you looking? Is that something you're interested in?
she's been a content creator almost her whole life.
I'm attempting to make a movie. I have the script. I just need to film.
He told me about that. Like, what is it that you're looking to do without giving too much detail? Without
It's like a horror movie.
no spoilers.
If anyone knows what Gorilla Tag is,
Gorilla Tag is a VR game.
it's a
Gorilla
Oculus
Tag.
Quest 2 game. It's where you chase monkeys and you tag them.
You chase
or
who?
You can just chill.
You chase who?
If you're a lava monkey, you chase the other monkeys and try to tag them.
Okay.
That's why it's called gorilla tag.
Oh,
But a
so
gorilla is not a monkey.
Not
though.
Guegor. Gorilla, as in like the monkey gorilla, not Guer.
You're confusing her.
What?
Do you know? Do you know?
Chase munchkins?
Is it gorilla, as in Gorilla? Like
Yeah.
I
like
think it's
the
spelled like a
animal?
gorilla. Yeah. I don't know why she keeps calling them monkeys. Why do they call them monkeys in the game?
Because
Are they smaller?
well, the thing is, so you know how gorillas like have like a huge body?
Mm-hmm.
Gorilla tag only has half of that. They don't have their lower half. You use your arms to get around. It's really fun.
It is an interesting game mechanic. I did not like it because it was not.
It was very
fluid to
hard.
move around.
It's pretty hard to get used to because it took me like a month to get used to it.
We have a live audience member saying chase munchkins. No, monkeys. Although I suppose they're munchkin monkeys if they don't have a half of a body.
I mean, technically, yeah.
They would be.
Are donut holes still called munchkins from Dunkin' Donuts?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so.
Haven't been to Dunkin' Donuts in a while.
Yeah. Abby's never been a big fan of the Dunkin'.
No, I sort of have.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't been to Dunkin' Donuts in a while, Ben.
She hasn't.
Yeah.
This is the opportunity for you to like
Take her to Dunkin' Donuts
on
and feed her
camera
shitty
blackmail your father. Like, do you have anything?
Get
do you have
her
any?
crappy donuts.
Yeah. Do you have any incriminate? It's sugar.
There are so many better donuts out there in
Oh
Knox
my
County.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I actually kind of like Dunkin' Donuts. I think
Okay.
it's pretty decent company.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm
all right.
both Dunkin' Donuts and a Krispy Kreme fan. I
Krispy
like it.
Kremes are pretty awesome.
Krispy Kreme's different. It's not your typical donut. They have some other donuts that are not your typical Krispy
By the
Kreme.
way, apologies if my hair gets like.
No, don't. You can spoil the magic. Everyone's gonna know you're a real girl.
No, I'm a cat. I'm definitely not a human. Definitely not.
Yeah.
No, Dunkin' Donuts is pretty good coffee. Pretty good. If Dunkin' Donuts ever wants to sponsor us, you might ruin it, Ben, by saying that that they don't have good food. They're
yeah,
pretty good.
right.
They're pretty good. Now I actually have another person to gang up on Ben with.
Yeah.
But okay, so you're a content creator. You're looking to get into like
Movie making.
VR, movie making, stuff like that as well.
Yeah, she's
I'm
gonna
really
film
excited.
the movie in VR.
Yes, I'm gonna film a movie and then I'm gonna edit it, which will probably take about like 10 hours because it's gonna be like pretty long, like 30 minutes, I'd say.
Not bad.
Short
Oh,
movie.
David was thinking of Wizard of Oz chasing munchkins. I
Mhm.
got you. And any other thing you want to do? Like, do you want to get on Twitch? Do you want to get on YouTube?
Well,
do you know?
I asked my father on my rights to let me stream on Twitch, but what did he say?
Probably not yet.
No.
But at least you want to.
This was
Yes,
before
of
she had a
course.
kitty helmet, like a kitty
True,
mask.
true.
You know,
That might be a stipulation.
Now can I stream on Twitch, father?
maybe.
Yay.
Abby
Maybe.
Cat.
Yeah,
Abby
right, there we
Well,
go.
I already have Strawberry's Milkshake as my Twitch username.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
I like Strawberry Milkshake.
I mean, she's been recording content since.
But it was like cringy
Two?
gotcha content.
Oh, I know, but still.
There's not. Well, okay. So it's not necessarily. I don't know if you want to hear from
Matt
me
can,
on this.
Matt
on
can
the
actually
topic.
play. He can actually play some of your early stuff if you want.
But yeah, I could. I don't know if you necessarily want to hear advice from somebody, but the important thing is that you just keep doing it and you get used to it. Like, you're so used to it now that it's no problem whatsoever for you to have a camera or a microphone on you.
Well, what I realized from like making like 50 videos on like gotcha and
50.
stuff like that, I do like sort of different types of content. I realized that Minecraft, like if I do 4 videos, doesn't get that much views. But like when I do gotcha videos, they only get like a few videos in a few weeks. But when I do Roblox, got like 100 views in a year.
Nice.
What was
Well,
that
the others were
karaoke
like-
thing you were doing?
Oh, Star Maker. That is a
It's
karaoke
like-
app where
yeah,
you
it's like-
can
VR
sing.
Karaoke.
No, it's more like TikTok if you do karaoke.
Oh, sure. I've seen a couple of those before. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I recommend you download the app. It's like really interesting, and I can't remember my username, but I think it's
That's
I'm
good.
trying to get good or something like that.
Yeah. Very, very positive people. And she got a lot of plays too.
Yeah, like
More
my
plays than
first
we've
video
gotten.
was like 200 plays.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
it was like 200 something.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then she had more than a couple that had over 100. But have you seen Jamie's plays lately?
Is
like-
he getting big numbers lately?
So he's had a couple ones that went viral or whatever. No, he's got a couple of them that have like a couple thousand views. already.
Awesome.
Oh, that's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, not all of them, but I mean, I love every single one he does. I go and
Yeah.
make sure I heart
Were
everything.
any of them with his daughter?
Yes, he
that
does have a
went- that
couple.
went viral?
He doesn't. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if those were the ones.
Okay.
Jamie's videos are so funny; it's hard to like figure out which ones are going to go
Mm-hmm.
viral or not. But one of the ones was when he was pulling that thing out of the toilet. Did you
Yeah.
see that one?
Yeah.
That one had a couple thousand plays.
What?
I don't know what it was.
That's weird.
No,
like a
'cause-
foam thing or
So
something.
there's a thing that is like a I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically this is one of those TikTok memes where someone takes a wand and they do like a Harry Potter
Mhm.
type of a noise and
Mhm.
stuff, and that's been blowing up lately, and so I commented on it like all it's missing is the sound, and so I mean he adding that on and adding a hashtag or whatever like can gain some traction on
big
that. A
time.
lot of people are seeing that and they're like, oh, the thing that person does, yeah, that's
Mhm.
funny, and so that it can take
Speaking
off sometimes.
of Harry Potter,
Mm-hmm.
so I saw this guy on a video that I was watching on YouTube.
Mhm.
There was this dude that was using a which Harry Potter character are you thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he was trying to get specific characters. The one that I saw was Voldemort and Dobby. If you know his name, please tell me. 'Cause
Okay,
I don't know.
I
his
don't,
name.
but that's cool.
Yeah, Matt's not a huge Harry Potter
Not really.
fan. Have you seen any of the movies?
I have. I've seen a few of them, and they're all right, but I'm just not as into it as some other people are. I guess it's just the fantasy aspect of it. I'm not as much into that as I am into other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's something certainly that will tie into what we're talking about later today.
I think it's interesting too about Harry Potter. Like, I'm not really into it either, but like I understand people who are
It's
because
massive.
I mean, yeah, it's massive. The books, the movies. Oh, the Fantastic Beasts movie. Yeah, see, I haven't been able to get into those either.
Yeah, I can't really.
Jamie.
I'm trying to. I'm trying
Jamie
to
says in chat
finish-
for Abigail, my all-time favorite niece in the world. He's talking about you.
Oh,
I'm like one of your only nieces, right?
No, Jamie has other nieces.
Oh.
are you dying underneath that mask yet?
Do you want to take it off?
Doing all right?
You can take it
No.
off if you want.
No, I don't want to take it off.
That's fine. You
Feel
know.
safe in here.
All right, that's fine. It's my safety zone.
She's gonna build a little home. You'll never see her again.
Yeah.
She'll just crawl up into the mask and curl up into a ball.
Yeah, it's fine. She's good.
I mean, that would be funny if I actually did, but I can't. My legs are too big.
You're too big now. You're a big
too
girl.
Why did I
You're
say
j-
leg?
You're growing
She's
up.
full size now.
Yep. You're practically an adult. You get out. You'll in a few years. You'll
She's
be asking
gonna
dad for
be
the car.
In
Exactly.
6th grade next year. She's going to be in middle
Going to
school.
Middle
school.
school.
It's
Middle
gonna be
school.
amazing.
Wow. 2 more years, right?
I'm-
2 more years,
Three.
and you'll be
I'm
18.
I'm
Yeah.
excited to just sip tea while I watch some people that were very,
So sophisticated.
shall I say,
Like with the pinky? Is that how you
Yep, with the pinky out. Yep.
well, I know that people are going to just like straight up lose their cool in middle school. So I'm just ready to watch that. I'm just going to be sipping some tea.
So I got a message. They're asking why Abby's wearing a mask, and I said because of COVID.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Absolutely. Got to do the pinky sip. Absolutely. Yep.
Jamie, did you miss all the Jamie talk? Or how we were saying how awesome your TikTok videos are.
Was
And
he,
Yeah,
was he
they're
lurking?
you have quite a few videos that have thousands of plays. So that's
You should do more videos with your daughter in it.
I just did one. I wonder how many. Let's see how many actually views
Oh
have
yeah,
we got.
I remember that.
I
First,
pranked
I
Abby.
remember the first TikTok that you ever posted. It was the one with "You're not my real dad."
Yeah.
I thought that was insane.
Oh
kinda
well,
funny.
it's only got 6 views, but
That's okay.
that's fine for me.
It was only like a day or two ago.
Yeah, the one we did of me and Abby,
That's better than
156 plays.
TikTok is definitely something for us to talk about, kid. It is such a like.
I wouldn't know anything
Specific-
about it mostly.
Well, it's not anymore. Not for kids. Kids used to teens and stuff like that.
It was
would
Musical.ly.
Yeah,
Musically was the first one.
but then the
Vine.
but that yeah,
Wow.
Vine was super.
Over 100,000 views, Jamie said.
Abby, I had one last week that got over 100,000 views.
Was that the one with the toilet?
Was that
The thing in the toilet?
I can't remember the words. I wrote it. I typed it up and then like totally forgot how to spell it.
I can just hold my mask out like this. It's like how I used to do it.
Oh, it was?
When I had to
Jamie
wear
confirms.
masks at my school, which didn't make sense because we didn't have to wear them in all the other places. And my dad didn't even have to wear a mask in college.
No.
It's a shame that you can't wear that to school as
Yeah,
you
I mean,
be like,
she's
I'm wearing a
wearing a
mask.
Wearing a mask.
I don't.
True.
It's distracting. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, and I also plan to bring my doll to school on Friday because it's technically
Abby,
stuffed.
please don't.
It's animal.
Please don't. Don't bring your baby doll to school.
Okay.
Other kids aren't going to get it.
Okay.
They're not.
Oh, let him hate.
Let them hate.
Oh, jeez,
Yeah.
kids.
Don't. Please
Sorry.
don't. Yeah. Abby doesn't know how cruel kids can be.
That's true.
And she's been very lucky.
Elementary school is a different environment.
Oh,
than middle
way
school
different.
In high school.
Yeah.
So, not to put any pressure on you, not to make you a little nervous
Oh,
about it.
I
but-
know that I'm gonna be scared.
But you, it's a different time and place now than it certainly was when Ben and I were dorks in school.
Mhm.
So who knows?
Well, I was never a dork, and I think we should
No?
get to that right now. Yeah. So there's nerds, there's geeks, and there's dorks.
Have you ever heard about this, Abby?
I've heard about nerds.
Okay.
I've heard about bullies.
No, we're not talking
No?
about bullies, because bullies can be anybody.
What the basic topic that Ben and I wanted to bring up to
Mhm.
folks is the different variations on a we'll just say a nerd. Like there are different terms that you use
Well,
for
there's something new called
Maybe.
a weeb, anime lover.
a weeb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are people that
Abs-
absolutely adore anime. Or
Yeah.
manga.
Those are geeks, though.
But they're
Oh,
anime
those are
geeks.
geeks?
Those are geeks.
That's the thing is that
Oh.
so anybody that watches me and during my live streams, anybody that Ben is kind of the same way. We love words and we love the usage of words, and specifically using certain words, or like the way that people use them in everyday speak. Like the top three, or I should say the top four, really, were nerds, geeks, dorks, and dweebs. And did you want to explain it, Ben, or did you want me to go ahead and do it?
Well, I mean, I don't know where the dweebs fall in, but I definitely know that, like, if you're really into something like Dungeons and Dragons, you're a geek. If you're into calculus in middle school,
Mm-hmm.
you're a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
If you eat glue and watch Dragon Ball Z when you're 30, you're a dork.
Well,
Or the equivalent. Like, everybody, that's maybe a dweeb.
here's how I've come to understand them. A geek is a fan,
Mm-hmm.
and you could be any sort of geek. You could be a sports geek, and they call them jocks. You could be a sports geek. You could be someone who's big into a particular type of fandom. You are a blank geek, a RPG geek. You could be into comic books. You could be into
Just passionate.
Yeah, everything.
Japanese, it's otaku, I think, is what they say. Like,
Yeah,
somebody who's really into
yeah.
something is otaku.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where geek has been. But, like, nerd has always been implied
A
that, like,
scholastic geek.
you're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in some cases, there's a social aspect as well. Like if you are an academic geek and don't necessarily have these generally, as I've come to understand the term, and don't have generally a social aspect to your nature, then you would be you would be
I almost think
considered-
Abby's phoning it in already.
you could consider yourself to be an academic geek, but that would be a nerd.
Yeah.
If you have no social redeeming qualities whatsoever, and you're not especially good academically, and you're not especially good as far as a fandom, then those are considered dorks. And then the more so, if you, or no, I should say, if you are I apologize. Let me rephrase that. A dork would be a low quality geek, and a dweeb would be none of the above.
Okay.
No redeeming qualities, nothing. That's as far as I know how it is. It may be
Okay.
different.
That's
So
interesting.
the social circle I hung out
David,
with,
all three, all of them, all of the above.
we
love 'em.
we called ourselves geeks, but we were
RPG geeks.
no, No, we were very much into being online before being online
Tech
was
geeks.
a real thing.
Computer
yeah.
geek.
Because, I mean, I started getting online in 92. I was 11 when I first got online. So 92.
You mean when I was graduating from high school, Ben?
Yeah.
Is that-
Yeah.
Nice.
So back then, the World Wide Web hadn't even been invented yet, and most everything was text-based. So you would dial in with your modem, and you would either connect to someone else's computer, or you would connect to like a giant mainframe, think War Games kind of thing.
Mhm.
And there was the internet, obviously, but like what I connected to was called Freenet. And to get a Freenet account, you actually had to like print out a letter, copy your photo ID, and mail it to them, and then they would
in the way back.
way back when. Yeah, exactly. And like Abby complained once. We got her The Sims. I forget which version, and she was complaining because it was taking a while to update the first install.
What?
We looked, and it was like a 4 gig update, which is kind of big. But then I explained to her, back when I first got online, it took an hour to download 1 meg of data. So you're talking like 4,000 hours. And I wouldn't have been able to save all that information because,
I was like 8.
okay, well, 7.
Back-
eight,
Better
yeah.
now. Better quality.
Back when I was a kid using computers, you had no online download whatsoever. If you did not have a physical copy of something in your hand that you can put into your computer to load it up, it didn't happen. And the very often you wouldn't know until you purchased something through the mail and you received it through the mail that you or from a friend of a friend of a friend. When you receive the disc and you put it in, it could just be junk right away. And so you could go through all that trouble just because you want to play a game that was probably a few megs, a few megabytes of
If
information.
less. I mean, those games back in the day were like
Silliness.
200. Nicole. Oh, Nicole says
Nicole's
hello,
checking.
Abby Cat.
Oh, hi, mother.
Hello, mother.
She was. I think Nicole was a little upset that we didn't ask her to be our first guest.
Well, maybe later on down the road we can.
I
have
am
Nicole.
first in something.
Use the 3.5 inch floppy disk or 5 1/4
Yeah, 5 1/4s were the first ones I ever had.
or cassette tapes
Mhm.
or
So
Or a piece of-
cassette tapes.
or a
that,
piece of paper with the code on it that you
that
would
you had to
actually type in yourself.
you had to type the basic program in 10 print. Yeah.
Well, let me ask one question from our guest before we let her go. Abby, we
Mm-hmm.
thank you for visiting us. We thank you for hanging out with us. Your experience with computers in school, what's the furthest back you could remember using a computer in school?
Okay, so using a computer in school, I remember that so this is a story that was in first grade, but like I didn't actually use the computer. I just saw people playing it and I thought like, wow, that's pretty cool. I wish I could do that. So I was in first grade and I was in a girl named Miss Johnson. She was really sweet. And she was also really funny too. I'll maybe like next time I come on I'll tell you a bit more about her.
Okay.
But so some people in my class had to get on a app called Reading Rangers on the computer because they were falling a bit behind.
Okay.
And
Helping with their reading?
yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, how come I don't get to do that? I want to do that. Then I realized, like, now in 5th grade, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, it looked cool, but it was actually something for
Yeah.
people that were falling behind and needed a little assistance.
Yeah, I realize that now in, like, 5th grade.
That's cool.
Then I'm pretty sure, like, in 2nd grade, I first used one of those computers. I didn't use a Chromebook because that was in, like, 4th and 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Like during the COVID years,
Mhm.
but I use like it's a
Yeah, I mean, she's
monitor.
been using a computer since she was like 2.
Yeah.
So
this is
Yeah,
an interesting
yeah.
experience.
Oh
yeah.
wait, you meant in school?
In school. No, I meant
No,
in
in
school.
school. He said in school.
Because for me,
Making sure.
when I was in school when there were no computers, it was just like typewriters and stuff like that. And then they started to introduce computers because we started to use them more and in different ways. And it was kind of like, the businesses would use computers, but it wouldn't be like the personal computer, like a computer in someone's home. There was a point in time when it's like you had to be a big deal to have a actual computer in your
They were
home.
like
to use.
$7,000 to bring home an IBM compatible back in the day.
Yeah, and now we got typewriters for Nicole as well. Yeah, and so you now everybody has a computer in their pocket, for crying out loud, with their phones and stuff. They can do everything. They can stream. They can connect with everybody. They can type.
You can get a tablet for $30 on sale.
Yeah, like you're talking about Chromebooks. Like the fact that you could fold a computer and put it under your arm and carry it with you.
And it didn't crush your lap.
Hold on one second. Yeah.
Hello.
That happens sometimes.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
like, what it was a monitor, and then it was a big monitor, like about like this big. Oh, sorry, I just hit the
That's
mic.
right. Okay.
And like then it was just like a huge computer, like it's entirely big, like it was very big.
Yes.
And
She does look like a furry.
yes, I very much look like a furry, though I am not. Well, my head is very furry. I mean, if you could,
she's
you could
furry.
feel
She's
it.
a cat. Yeah, absolutely.
And
She's also 11.
another thing that I remember in 3rd grade, it was so I had this. So like, okay, sorry.
Sorry.
ABC. Have you ever heard of a learning website called ABC? ABC.
Nope.
WA.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's a website where you can like play some games. They could be learning games, and they could be just like regular, just like.
If they're going to trick you into learning something.
Yeah.
Like where in the world's Carmen San
Learning
Diego.
is fun.
ABC
Yeah,
Mouse is the one I know of.
Oh yeah, ABC Mouse was fun too, but like I didn't really play that.
Yes, you did.
Well, like in school, I didn't.
Oh, not in school. Okay. You like my beard, Lucas? Or are you talking about Matt's
Nobody
beard?
likes your.
I'm gonna say. My mother-in-law made fun of me the other day. We were talking to her on the video chat. She's like, and I was getting serious. I was talking about, something that happened to me that was kind of shitty or whatever. And she's like, Ben, I got to ask you. And I'm thinking, wow, she's going to ask me like an in-depth question. And she's like, what's up with that shit on your chin? And I'm like, what?
Wow.
I'm like, this is my wife doesn't shave my facial hair while I'm sleeping. That's all this is. She hasn't gotten upset enough.
Facial hair shaming. Ben's doing the best he can.
I know, right?
My gosh.
You know how long this took me? Yes, she did. Nicole admits she was there.
Well, some
like
apps
your
that I use now. So like just
he's
like a few
flooding the
days
chat
ago-
there. Hey, buddy. You want to maybe not do that?
Hold on. He's a hide
What?
user on this channel. Done.
All right, there you go.
Okay, so in 5th grade, like a few days ago, Prodigy, which is a it's like an RPG math learning game, came out with a new mode called English mode. Basically, Animal Crossing got a phone up Nintendo code for copyright. It's basically Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing's pretty fun. They use it for educational purposes.
Well, no, they
well,
just like
yeah.
stole it and they made a new
Oh, they just
version.
stole it.
Well,
On
what
Prodigy.
they do is they use a
Not the old
energy
Prodigy.
bar, and when your energy bar runs out, you have to answer reading questions to get it back up.
Okay, so it is used
But
for
it's
education.
still Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
Cool.
Gotta call it Nintendo.
but I mean that's the true.
not
You have
that way,
you have a
huh?
copyright issues and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
you're infringing on something, but still you're adding an educational element to it. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I've seen stuff like that, like the typing. What is it? What is that one where you fight the zombies, but you have
Typing of the Dead.
Typing of the Dead, is that what it is? There's
they
one.
can't-
There's a game where you have to type certain words as these zombies are coming at you, and when you type the word as fast as you can, the faster you type, then you shoot them with the words.
Cool.
So yeah, it's kind of neat.
There's always been different typing games and stuff. Mavis Beacon teaches typing.
there-
Mario
typing-
teaches
speaking
typing.
of typing games, there's
Oregon
a
Trail
game
was
that my friends, that my classmates play, called Nitro Type. It's a game where you're a car,
Oh yeah,
gotta type.
you have to
the
type to go
sentence
faster.
The fastest.
Nice.
Oh, and I was mashing those keys. I was like, done.
Nice.
Hey, Zycon, who are you asking that to? Because I like The Walking Dead.
I'm not particularly a fan, and I don't know if Abby's even seen it.
Abby's,
I
well,
read the. I
she's
read
reading the
first book.
comic.
The comic books.
Yeah,
I
she's reading the trade
finished.
paperbacks. You,
Show me
Awesome.
the movie, Dad.
show me the
Uh,
movie.
Jamie-
Movie's not out yet.
Jamie says I've seen
a
a
TV
version
show.
of Oregon Trail where you had to solve math problems. Oregon Trail was pretty good.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, all right, we're gonna say goodbye to our guest.
Yeah,
Abby,
thank
you for
you, Abby,
joining
so
us.
much for-
Well, this is gonna be.
No reveal.
Oh!
Oh, I was gonna move it.
All right. Well,
This is-
anyways,
Bye.
it's fine.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Abby.
A great first guest.
Yeah,
I don't know that Nicole could top that, really.
great content. Thanks, Dave.
Bye. Good night.
Bye-bye. She's like, I'm not such a head.
All right. So, thank you very much for our first guest.
First official guest.
No, the answering the question as far as do we like The Walking Dead, I'm not a fan necessarily, but some of it I like a little bit.
I've watched I'm not current. I think I'm like 2 seasons behind, and I watched Fear of the Walking Dead, and I mean it's okay. It's all right.
All right, Nicole.
Nicole's got to go too.
Yep.
My bedtime.
She's got to be mom.
Yeah, that's fine. Bro. Zycon.
I did say we were going to get some new people in the room.
Some of them are good, some of them not.
Some of them were a little weird, but that's all right.
So I guess we'll take this time too to put it out there that if you'd actually like to be a real guest, not that Abby wasn't a real guest, if you'd like to be a guest on a future show or 3231, you can email us. You can send us a private message on Facebook. You can call us. You can how else can they get a hold of us?
Absolutely.
Matt?
Like we're all over social media at 3231, right under Ben, right into that. Ben, when you point to the thing there. The other side. There you go, right there. 3231 all over social media on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all over social media. Basically, if you Google 3231, you'll find us pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, you just got to spell it exactly how we have.
Or better yet, you can visit our website, which is 323.one right there.
Yeah,
we got some stickers here that we're going to start throwing around Knoxville and everything. 323.one in order to.
That's fine. You're
get
good.
It back there. But we're all over the place, really.
But if you, Zycon's asking, are we on Discord? Yes, we have our own Discord. And Zoom. We definitely can Zoom somebody in if you are not local to Knoxville and you'd like to appear on the show. We're all about that. That's fine.
But we're still babies.
Works.
We're still internet babies as far as doing the broadcasts and stuff. So we're learning as we go.
Yeah.
But not looking too bad so far. We're doing all right.
No, we've already booked some guests. I talked to probably one of the best guests we had on our first season of shows, and he's going to think about it. He's going to think about it, and he's going to come. I don't know if it's going to be a show or a podcast, one or the other, but we're definitely going to sit down with RC Tuck. And
well, we talk about nerds and geeks because we're experts on nerds and geeks. We know in a lot of people. We are nerds and geeks ourselves. And would love to introduce more folks.
Yes, sir.
To
Tuck.
Yep.
He goes by RC Tuck.
Great, great people that we know, like Jamie and David. The great folks that we know that have different interests and can speak on different topics. And as we're continuing along, like I said, on TikTok and here on YouTube as well, getting to make more friends that we can introduce, and also in person. Like not just in the internet community, but also local to Knoxville. A lot of interesting folks that we're meeting. Yeah. There was that gentleman by the name of Andrew that we connected with, and I think we spoke about him on the last episode as well. That just interesting folks that have their own perspective and their own experiences that we want to have involved in the community. There was something you were dealing with just the other day regarding the permaculture.
Yeah. Yeah, we ran into a speed bump, minor speed bump, and due to us trying to be nice about things and be very considerate and stuff like that, we've had
civil.
We're trying to be civil and stuff, and we I don't want to admit fault live on the air, but maybe we did something that we shouldn't have done, hindsight being 2020, and maybe we should have done something a little differently, but we were asked to no longer use the name of what we were going by, and we kind of stewed on that for like a day, and then the next day we announced we were no longer going to be using that name. So we started 2 new groups. The Knoxville group is called Knoxville Regenerative Co-op. It's a cooperative, and we're going to be doing all sorts of really interesting things with food production, worker-owned businesses, just a slew of really cool ideas. And then we're also focusing on East Tennessee regionally. So there's a East Tennessee Regenerative Network. So that's going to be anything from regenerative agriculture to permaculture to prepping to homesteading, anything that is sustainable or regenerative.
Community based
Yeah.
activities and
Sure.
the interest.
Everything that's not in Knox County will
Yeah.
be East Tennessee Regenerative Network. And then if you're in Knox County, then the Knoxville Regenerative Cooperative Co-op. So those are on Facebook right now. We're in the process of getting our website built by a developer. That's going to be really cool, and we'll kind of go from there. But it was kind of poopy because, we hadn't planned on doing this. Not now. We thought we were going to be able to do this over a course of like half a year transition from using the old name to a new name and stuff. But the people are the people. You can call the group whatever you want.
They forced your hand a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
that's fine.
not that they necessarily forced your hand, but they created an issue
Yeah.
that you, being a smart person and being someone that doesn't want confrontation and conflict.
No bad juju, man.
Yeah,
No, I
like
don't
it's
want
all we're all about positive vibes, and you certainly are as well. There's a reason why you and I can team up together. That it's just let's get to the good thing. Let's get to the people enjoying and prospering from this thing.
And the one good thing about basically starting anew is that I want to say like there were some really big shoes to fill if I was to replace the old people who were running the group. You know what I mean? Like they did a lot, and they did it over a very long period of time. And I always had to be considerate of this is their baby. You know what I mean? Like they created this. They ended up not doing anything with it in the last few years. And that's where I kind of picked it up and said, okay, let me dust this off and let me see if anybody else is interested. And people were.
A lot of interest.
Yeah. So, when we took over, the group was at like 400 people. And, we were almost up to like 1,500 when we had to make a new name and stuff. So
and a lot of support for you, like in what you're doing. Like they so much have said the other people that were in charge
they
weren't really doing anything, and now at least it's active. There's movement, there's momentum, and
sure.
It was great to see a lot of the feedback that you automatically got, where they're like, "That's not fair that you're being."
Some of it was really positive. Some of it was not, but that's fine because that's other people's points of view on the subject. Nicole and I are the current admins. We're the current stewards. So, we're the ones who sweep up the place and turn the lights off at the end of the night. But that's it. That's all we are. The other 1,400 people, it's their group too, and they expressed every opinion under the rainbow about how we should go about doing this. And in the end, I had already made the decision. So I had already made the new group and told everybody where to go if they want to continue being in our group. And we're going to work on where we go from here when it comes to like
this. This was just recently, but how many people have jumped on board?
Oh, it's over 200.
Nice.
So yeah, it was very fast. Like within that first day, we had over 100 people join up, and I don't need there to be thousands of people. Like I don't need 1,000 subscribers. We just need a small group of a couple hundred that come out to meetups and do the workshops and stuff like that. Like we did this month is the first month that I did kind of, I know you're going to remember this, What's Rocking This Week, with ocalaRocks.com. So what I did.
Newsletter?
Yeah. So basically what I did was that. I did I said, what's regenerative in May? I don't know. I was just kind of thinking of stuff. Well, what can
That's great.
Yeah. What can I use? And I got, some pretty decent stuff. All the stuff that we had planned, for the different groups and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's basically like, when our meetups are happening, and different events that are pretty cool stuff, so it's not a whole bunch of stuff, but there's a whole bunch of stuff happening, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. And there's going to be like a big self-reliance festival in June. So I wanted to give people a heads up because that's kind of something, that's like on the other side of the state. And most of all the other stuff is local to here. So, trying to keep it local, and build up that following with people and maybe making more permaculture content, which we're going to do. It's just a matter of when, we have people on the schedule to come, and they can definitely be, guests on Nomad Radio, but the typical stuff that they're into isn't necessarily the same kind of stuff Nomad Radio has done in the past, but permaculture has always been part of what we nerded out
I was going to say,
and geeked out about.
one of the great things about this is it's like we don't know what this is necessarily. We know what we're bringing to it, but the whole idea is when including a community, it can be what the community wants. The main thing that Ben and I have always leaned on is the fact that we want to build the framework. A lot of what we want to provide to Knoxville locally, to East Tennessee regionally, to the internet, to everything is a framework for people to build a community and have the resources that they need in order to spread the word about their passion, in order to get it out there and to have the conversation. We cover a lot of different ground, and I was just mentioning this on TikTok. It's like some people are saying stick to one or two things and just do that one or two thing. And although I do get that, like our one or two things or the one thing that we deal with is people's passion about what they like. And that can branch off in any different direction. Like we just want to have a conversation with people, make friends with folks, and support them in whatever they find their ambition in.
The most successful podcast in the world is a guy who sits and talks to people about every subject.
Anything,
any subject. So for people to say, oh, no, you guys need to stick to science fiction and role playing. I'm like, okay, well, we could do that. But at some point we would get bored. Our audience would get bored and we would stop doing broadcasts.
And we kind of do want to do that in a sense where it's like, okay, if we're going to talk about this one thing, like we have a couple shows in mind that we want to produce that deal with a particular topic. Like obviously we can talk generally about role-playing games, but if someone's really into role-playing games, we can provide them with content like really getting deep into that. But if they're not, they don't have to watch that show.
No.
This is more about making the connection of people and you and I having the conversation, which is separate from me just being on TikTok and doing my own thing. It's all separate stuff.
The show's becoming its own thing with the audience interaction, you and I, and the things we choose to talk about, But there was just that pretty much sums up the regenerative stuff, and then there was only one other thing. Oh yeah, I got to do something really cool that I had never done before.
What's that?
Monday, Abby had an event at the county commissioner meeting. So her little scout troop had to go and see a county commissioner's meeting. And I have never in person gone to that and seen politicians, politic, and bureaucracy. I've never seen that before. I'd seen clips. I had seen like people go and address the county commissioners with their problems and stuff, like somebody like
it certainly
sued.
Didn't seem like anything that you'd be interested in, but it was kind of,
Well, really though, if you think about like what like I complain about and what I'd like to do, like isn't that politics? Like it's the fault of politicians, most of the problems that we have with the way the world is designed. Now you could say, well, corporations are too and stuff like that, but at least like with local, or at least with politics in general, Nicole does not like Nancy Pelosi. But she's never going to be able to be in the same room as Nancy Pelosi, so she can hate her all she wants. But if it's the local county commissioner you have a problem with, you can go to their meetings and you could sign up and you could bitch them out for 5 minutes if you want to.
At first glance, a lot of that stuff doesn't seem interesting. But if you are a member of the community and you have an axe to grind, or you have at least, let's be a little more civil about it and say you have a challenge that you'd like to present, or an issue that you'd like to present to the authorities in your community, to be able to do that is kind of cool. Like to have like that's what you want essentially, is access to the authority in your community to be able to talk to them about here's a problem I have, or here's the thing I want.
The first lady who spoke was suing the law director for multiple millions of dollars because they wouldn't release freedom of information stuff they know they have to do. And the other big one was we had a lady whose car broke down, and like a sheriff helped her. And he like pushed the car to get it out of the way, and it like rolled downhill and smashed into a building. Well, okay, he's at fault, right?
Right.
Well, the county wouldn't admit fault, and the county refused to talk to these people, and like they're basically saying that they have to fix it all themselves, and they're like, it's not our fault.
Yeah.
And then that comes to find out that there's this whole legal process where you can't sue the county in county court. You can't sue the king. The king does not give permission for you to sue him. So they basically said, you got to go to Nashville. you got to go to the state Congress
Right.
to go after us. That's just how things are set up. But it was like, wait a minute, like the county has complete immunity. Like no, and they're like, no, we don't. We get sued all the time. It's just there's a certain way you have to sue us. And
Yeah. You can't. Yeah. I mean, there's the
Yeah.
certain procedures they got to do. Well, I mean, it's interesting. I'm
Yeah.
not necessarily into politics, but the idea of, at its basis, a community being able to voice their grievances and deal with the issues of the community.
One of the
with
things I found really cool was just their hardware and the geek stuff. Like what stuff I geek out on was like their mics and the PA and the speakers,
Right.
and they had cameras that moved and like how much does this cost? Can we rent this room out? You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about us doing a show there. Yeah, the production side of it.
Nice.
I thought it was pretty cool, and it's like our tax dollars pay for that. So like we might, if the room's available, we might actually be able to do a show live from the main room in the county, as long as it's not
And they have public access in
They do.
Knoxville as well.
They
so.
do the wrestling. I wish I remember their name, but yeah,
The wrestling. What do you mean?
the wrestling people that were at the Mexican restaurant in Union County,
Oh.
and then
gotcha.
they were doing their live show, which was cool, and we were gonna go, and then we're like, oh, let's not go, whatever.
Wrestle Talk.
Yeah, and then they went from the Mexican restaurant, the only Mexican restaurant you can, to actually recording their show live in a real studio, which is really cool, and that's something for us to think about too.
Interesting.
Because like it's a lot of work putting together a studio, and we do have a production background, so like we know we don't know everything, but like we know enough to get this started. And there's a lot of people who don't, they don't have a clue, and
We've been in that area to know a little bit of the language. We're not fluent by any means,
Yeah.
but that we can speak to someone that does lights or someone that does sound or someone that
and understand it enough when they explain it to us. We know they're not speaking Chinese to us.
Yeah.
But like this is our third
iteration.
Yeah. Of over 10 years of 3231. So, we definitely learned a thing or two at this point. But yeah, no, it was the meeting. The county commissioners thing was more so like how they actually hold that meeting was very interesting to me because like, again, I'm not experienced in that. And like the only meetings I've been to a lot were AA meetings. So like, I know how those are ran, and like there's speaker meetings and stuff where you don't get, everyone doesn't get to talk. You just basically listen to one guy talk. And with the meetings that I'm putting together for my permaculture group, like what does that look like? And, like I'm working on that. So like every example is a model that I can learn something from and apply that to my own group. And my own group is very small, like we never get over more than like 24 people at a meeting. It'd be a wonderful problem to have where there's so many people and stuff like that. But like, how does the meeting flow? What's the point of the meeting? And obviously it's to get the community together and it's for people to, benefit from the connections with one another.
Yep.
But like, how do you best do that? And, we're just working on that.
Yep, all across the board, learning about that stuff.
Yeah,
and how to communicate and how to host it properly so that other people can see and join in when they wish
and
to.
get the most benefit. That's the thing too. Is like we're probably only going to meet like once or twice a month. How does everyone get the most benefit out of only meeting once or twice a month? And we'll kind of roll with that and see how things go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And again, for those that are unfamiliar with the concept of permaculture, it's basically the idea of how a community can help themselves and grow and survive and thrive in the best ways possible.
A great quote. Yeah, hold on. That's Bill Mollison and Dave Holmgren are like the big permaculture guys. But here we go. Okay, so
it's an art and it's a science.
Yeah.
And it's
So permaculture is not a fixed system. It is not a gardening association or an architects group or a farmers federation. It does not tell people what to do. It does not say what to plant, when and where. Rather, it encourages people to think, to observe, and to plan. It encourages people to live in harmony with nature, to imitate and learn from nature. So, there's like, you look at a regular garden and it's like, where in the world do you ever see a plot of land laid out like a garden?
Yep.
Nowhere. Mother Nature doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So that's like forest farming has been one of these things that's gotten a lot popular, food forest and stuff, and incorporating, fruit trees and nuts and support species
and the important aspect of not only humans surviving, but doing so in a way that doesn't interfere with nature.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Do you hear certain things like carbon footprint and and regenerative, that sort of thing. That the idea of,
I think one of the biggest obstacles that we're running into now here in Knox County, and I'm sure in other places, it's just worse here, is the cost of living. And why is it so expensive to live here? Well, it's expensive to live here because that's the way the system was designed. Mm-hmm. So if we want a better system, we have to design it ourselves, whether that's for me or whether it's for you, whether it's for a community. There are so many ways we can house people a lot more, a lot better than we're doing now. But you can't do that because zoning, or you can't do that because some state law. Okay, well, let's change those laws. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's make it illegal for developers to buy farms and just put in cookie cutter developments. We don't need that. But what we do need is much higher density housing, much closer to the city. Knoxville is an amazing city. You imagine, like our downtown, like 4 times that. Sure. You could fit the whole entire metro population of Knox County in that area if that density was higher.
Yeah, you have the history of the area, and like people are. You have the limitation of the people that have lived in that area through over the years, and the generations that have lived with the same thing over and over again, and not really thought about, okay, well, you have very few minds, I should say. Mm-hmm. Very few minds that have said, okay, this is a little outdated. We need to find better. We need to do better. Like to match the technology, to match the, being aware of certain things that we weren't aware of 20, 30 years ago, like the global warming and like the dependency on fossil fuels and stuff like that. David says, take Elon Musk. He can probably feed thousands of maybe millions of people with his money instead of buying Twitter. That is something. So
yeah, it's a point of view that you got there. Yeah.
It's not just up to one person with a lot of money to take care of the problem. Everybody.
Well, you heard about the UN, right?
The UN.
Well, okay. I mean, the United Nations, right? Yep. So for some reason, the United Nations is the answer to every problem, and there's starvation in the world, and the UN said that if they had $6 billion, that they could end hunger. So Elon Musk was like, okay, well, you send me a plan on how $6 billion is going to end world hunger, and I'll give you $6 billion if it's a good plan. Their plan was not a good plan. Their plan is no UN plan is good. I mean, when you have the whole world and they're nothing but politicians in your organization, and everybody's like, ooh, how can we make more money? How can we get more control? Like that's not the organization that needs to be ending world hunger. And any organization that makes money off of hunger should not be in charge of ending world hunger, because they're never going to do it. Just like the pharmaceutical industry is never going to cure all illnesses, because they'd be out of business at that point.
Well, that's the thing. That's the reason that permaculture comes into play, because it's not a small group of people that learning how to conduct business in a certain way. It's everybody in the community learning how to work together to benefit the entire community.
Sure.
Ideally, yeah. It's idealistic for sure, but I always jump into things like that.
Sure. And when I'm the one who's taught you a lot about permaculture, it's not necessarily, you know what I mean? Like it's my version. It's everybody has a flavor of permaculture. And some people, they call it purple permaculture.
Right. But
that's the magical permaculture. I'm not magical, but mine is much more community focused, and like, you've been here the whole time with me building up stuff. Whether it was the Everyday Earth Center, whether it was Ocala Rocks, we had a promotions company, Southern Uprising Entertainment. We had all these little niche things that we were trying to solve a problem. And that's what permaculture is as well.
Pieces of the bigger puzzle.
Yeah, is coming up to solutions to problems and making other people's problems a solution for others. So,
and while we may not be the ones to present the solution to problems, it's not necessarily our job to do that. Our job is to create the conversation.
Sure.
And that's the place to start.
Create the fertile garden for things to plant. For seeds to come to fruition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're in the seed business kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. So the idea of, because like you're mentioning, with a community like Knoxville, take one place for example, you have so many things that are wrong with the place, and so many people that will point out what's wrong with the place, but not people actually having a conversation about what the solution to the problem is.
Yeah, that's just it. Yeah, everybody pointing out what's wrong is just called whining.
Yeah.
But when you point out what's wrong and you say, oh, here's a solution to the problem, and it doesn't cost a lot of money, and it's a local solution, and it's not tax people and let somebody at a governmental agency decide what to do. Like that's the crazy thing, like with the carbon tax. You know, like, wait a minute, you're kidding me, right? You're going to let a bunch of lunatics at a worldwide level tax the entire world and decide what they're going to do with that money to save the environment. You mean the same guys that are ruining the environment right now? You're going to give them more money and you're going to let them. But that's why I'm saying local, your community, whether it's your county commissioners or whatever, like that's what we can do something with.
And importantly, getting people in the mindset of, let's come up with ideas. Let's sit down and let's have conversations about, let's open ourselves up to possibilities and discuss those possibilities. That's a great start.
Yeah, exactly.
That's much better than the opposite, which is going to, not to put down, like you said, the county commissioners and stuff, because that's an access that anybody can have to, like I said, local authorities.
You need a favor.
Well, just the point of if you want to create the discussion, you can go to the county commissioners and you can at least present.
We're going to get one of those guys
your grievances
on the air with us.
You know what? I'm not interested necessarily in politics, other than the fact that it's people helping people in a community, ideally. So
somebody has to be running for election that would come on our show. They'd be like, "Oh, I'll come on your podcast. How many people you have listening?" Well, we have 5 people right now, but we'll get 50 more in replays. You're good. You're good.
Well, it's a possibility.
It's a great demographic.
Sure.
Yeah,
it's a possibility. Absolutely.
Sure. Really, we're not turning anyone away.
No.
As if we had the balls that we could tell people to go away. Glenn Jacobs would be cool.
I would love to meet Glenn Jacobs for many reasons.
But would it be Glenn Jacobs the mayor, or would it be Glenn Jacobs Kane?
No, I know. I
want both.
I want the guy, Glenn Jacobs. I want to meet him. Whatever.
All right, Glenn. All right, come on in. We're going to surprise Matt with this.
Mr. Jacobs, sir. No, I want to.
The lights go down and the fog comes out and the sound effects starts playing.
Red lights, yeah. No, I'd like to meet him and I want to. So everybody is a person, and they could be a powerful person. They could be a person that's been on camera, that's been in movies or TV, that's been in office. But everybody's a person. Everybody has a perspective. That's the people that I want to get to know. I'd love an opportunity to sit down with somebody and say, so look into a little bit into their life and look in a little bit of why do you do what you do? It all boils down to what your passion is, and what you believe in, and like I said, dealing with the same things that we deal with every day, the trying to maintain positivity, trying to inspire creativity, trying to have a community of people that can talk to each other and then have a discussion. That's what I want to do. Glenn Jacobs is fantastic because he hits in different areas that I'm unfamiliar with, and some areas that I'm familiar with as a fan, but also that, take wrestling, for example. For the longest time, I've been a fan of wrestling. And you can look at it and you can say, what it is to a person that's like, oh, gee whiz, here's that guy going off the rope, and that's fun and flash and bang and the lights and the sound and the spectacle sort of thing. But there's also the side of me that says, okay, I've been behind the curtain and I know what injuries are like. I know, I know people that are throwing their bodies on the line just to help, just to entertain 20 people in an empty, arena or empty bingo hall, whatever you want to call it.
A gymnasium in Florida with no air conditioning.
Yeah, exactly.
With a wrestling match in July.
Yeah,
Matt was there.
And I've been somebody that sat in my living room as a teenager looking at MTV and watching these guys, with on MTV with the big rock bands and the huge stacks and the lights and the smoke machines and all that stuff, and been like, wow. And then I've been somebody who's actually been on a stage in front of 1,000 people and sang his ass off and had my back was hurting or my knees were hurting, or I could use a drink of water, or I'm having a problem with one of the other guys in the band, or whatever the issue is. You're dealing with a different perspective and understanding it more, and we've used everything in our lives that we've experienced towards moving it towards a better and a better, pointing it in a better direction, in a more positive direction. And I just think there are people out there that want that too. And to connect with those people and be like, okay, getting down to the point of why do you do what you do? Why have you put your body on the line? Why have you put your life on the line? You know, you that's what you've dedicated your time and your physical body and your you know, relationships and all that stuff. You've put that all on the line towards a passion, towards an ambition. I'd like to know a little bit more about that. But yeah, that'd be fantastic just to get Glenn Jacobs to sit him down and be like, so what have you done in your life and how you've gotten to where you are, and whether it's politics or talking in entertainment or what have you. And also, not only where have you been for you, but you're at the point now where, and I've said this before on whenever I've live streamed, people have heard me say this before, that the first 25 years of my life has been learn something. And then the next 25 years of my life was do something. And now the next 25 years of my life looks like teach something. You know, like that's it, you get to a point in your life where it's like you got to leave something for somebody behind you. And like you said, permaculture is the same way. Not only is it developing something, but it's leaving something behind for
ideally
for other generations.
Yeah.
Ideally, yeah, exactly. So I would hope that would be a basic thing in all people, that not only do they want to do something for themselves, but they want to leave something behind. And that's an interesting thing to look at for somebody else too. That's an awesome way to think about it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and maybe it's different for other people, but I think, you know, so far, and this is all part of the learning process. I'd love to learn, you know, more about it if that's not the case. If somebody else doesn't feel the same way, that's a different perspective that I'd love to learn about as well and take that all in. But
I know people are going to say, Ben, you didn't really explain permaculture well, and I sometimes don't. But basically, what permaculture is an ethics-based design science. And when you learn about permaculture, you learn about auditing systems, making them more efficient, making them more sustainable, which is good. Sustainable is great, but really you want your designs to be regenerative. You want them to leave the world better, like you're saying, than when you started. So
philosophy is a science in a way.
Yeah,
I know they separate the two, and they say one is just the, you know, like daydreaming and how to be as a person, but it's not necessarily a science.
A lot of that's logic too.
Yeah.
But with permaculture, those three ethics are earth care, which basically means you have to take care of the earth. You can't, your designs can't hurt the earth. I mean, you know, maybe momentarily or whatever, but ideally, no, you don't want to hurt the earth. And then the second ethic is people care. You can't hurt people. You can't exploit people. You can use people, you know, I mean, you can labor, you know what I mean? And then the third ethic is like kind of debatable, but it's basically setting limits and fair share. So if I contribute to a system, I should get my fair share back from that system. It doesn't mean that, you know, you can demand profits from somebody else's company. No, you know, you had nothing to do with that. They did that. You know, so when you're designing those systems, you want to make sure that you're setting limits, controlling population, making sure your things don't get out of control, and then giving back. You know, give back the surplus is another one. So third ethic is kind of big, and it's kind of debatable, whatever. But definitely the first and second is earth care and people care. And
those are practical. And like, you know, if you want to maintain everything around you, your environment, you want to maintain yourself and your family.
Yes.
But also, you have to do it for something. You don't just do it in order to survive, in order to continue the lineage sort of thing. It's you want to leave behind something worth something, you know, something of the virtue idealism. That's what
for the people who are interested and want to learn more about permaculture. YouTube is just like, there's so many videos on YouTube about permaculture, but there's one book that I suggest anyone who's homesteading or wants to just learn the basics. Gaia's Garden by Toby Hemingway. Toby Hemingway is no longer with us; he's passed away, but he's written several books, and his wife still lives. So, like, you know, when you buy those books, you know what I mean. It helps Toby's family and stuff. So, Gaia's Garden. It's like $20 book, and it's an amazing book. So, anybody who wants to learn about, you know, home scale permaculture and what permaculture is and what it looks like, because that was a big thing with me too. Like, I watched the videos. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I went to a design course. It's like, oh, okay. But until I actually saw it in front of me, then I realized what it was. And it's like, okay, all right, now I get you. Like, I understand now because it's something that you have to see.
How much of that is your life been about? Which is, I kind of heard about it, but until you're actually in there yourself, like you get about everything that we cover is, somebody talks about wrestling and you have your own, you have an idea about what it is. Exactly, yeah. Preconceived notions of what it is, and then you deal with it, and you're like, oh. That's the same thing I was talking about, like with local music and all the experiences that I've had, and you have a dream about.
I shared a lot of those memories.
You have a dream about what you think it is, or a vision about what you think it is, and then you deal with it, and then your vision is different, but it's like, closer to truth.
The production side of that stuff is something that a lot of people don't see, like, because almost everybody's gone to a bar and seen a band or whatever, but like, do you know the back room stuff that happened just to get that show booked? You know what kind of BS they had to deal with the owner? Like how little money are they actually getting paid for like a 4-hour gig? And then you look at the back room stuff, and like, I know there were shows that like we made like $4, and it's like, oh, you used all your equipment and did all that work and you made $4, and it's like, well, either it wasn't a good crowd, or we didn't have a good deal with the bar, or, there was always something. But like in a live original music, there's not a lot of money at the local level. I mean, there can be if you're selling merch left and right, or if your parents are attorneys and you have a band A Day to Remember. And, they were the most famous, successful band out of our hometown of Ocala.
And the cool thing is that having different passions, having interest in different things, you start to see, like when you pull back a little bit, you start to see the pattern in the fabric of life sort of thing, where like a lot of similarities between local music and local pro wrestling and independent wrestling and dealing with the wrestling business.
It's local performance art.
Yeah, exactly. But then also when you're dealing with the live streaming and stuff, there's similarities right there as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The same kind of people that you deal with. So there's the perspectives are worth something. Experience is worth something, and having people come in that know different things, not having to be knowledgeable in everything, but having access to people who have knowledge in pretty much everything. The bigger the community, the more you get a better perspective, and you could end up turning that, like, with people that are like-minded in the sense of they all want to benefit each other. They all want to. Obviously, self-preservation is a important part of it, taking care of yourself and your future generations, but also to have other people there to look out. I think in a lot of ways,
many hands make light work.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, folks have gotten away from the importance of a community, like the small town aspect, the dealing with the small number of people in a small area with wilderness around you, with the unknown on the outside, kind of a thing. That sort of old
the wagon trains, man. The Western expansion. Imagine, how many people were on your wagon train, and like it was just you and versus nature versus Native American tribes that wanted to butcher you.
Literally standing among your people.
Yeah, 1883 is a fantastic show. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I haven't yet.
It is really good. Yeah,
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
I want to say it's like Walking Dead level good.
Ooh, all right.
Like it's that good. And the really famous people. Gold Rush.
Gold Rush? The Gold Rush era?
Oh yeah, the Gold Rush era. Sure, yeah.
Well, yeah, that you're.
For a minute, you met the reality TV show Gold Rush, and I'm like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, the Discovery Channel or whatever, TLC or whatever.
Yeah.
So imagine yourself standing on a piece of land, okay, and you're surrounded by the only people that you know as you're traveling around. Take a moment to consider your visual eyesight radius. What you could stand where you are and spin around, and everything that you see is your entire life. Like the people that are in it, the supplies that you have, the resources that you can gather, like maybe you could stretch out a little bit more, and then you have no idea what's outside of that area. Like that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking that fascinates the hell out of me, is getting back to that point where you're like, all I have is in my immediate vicinity. That is my life.
Did you ever see The Village?
Yes.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I was watching, it's not just like it. There's like maybe a vague similarity, but there was a movie called Alice that I downloaded. that I streamed off of. Was it off of Amazon Prime, or I want to be able to direct people to the right spot? But it might have been.
So it was called Alice.
I think it was on Google that I purchased it to rent and streamed it. Yeah, I think it's called Alice, but it's basically a slave. A young lady, a slave in this Georgia homestead, plantation, whatever you call it, and dealing with. I just realized I'm leaning on the table a little bit, so it's jiggling everything. But you have this girl who's dealing with. The only actor I remember is Common, is in it, and Johnny Lee Miller's in it, playing the plantation owner.
Oh wow! I just read the whole synopsis.
Read it out loud. You could,
okay.
Better than I could.
Alice yearns for freedom as an enslaved woman under iron rule by a brutal owner of a rural Georgia plantation. After a violent clash, she flees through the neighboring woods and stumbles upon the unfamiliar sights of a highway, soon discovering the year is actually 1973.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like The Village.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
God, could you imagine how upset you'd be if you found out?
You are.
Well, I mean, slavery's horrible anyway.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so much you are a slave. You thought that everything in your life was a certain way.
Yeah.
And then having that data dump.
This looks really good.
It is super good.
It's got a 4.8 out of 5.
Super good movie.
And a 4.6 out of 10 is not that great.
But that whole, like, if you are into even
not really into slave movies, but like that's an interesting premise.
No, but like if you are into time travel, if you are into like dimensional travel and that sort of thing, like we are as well, that is definitely something to include on your list because it is so moving. Like your entire world. I guess
that kind of ruins the surprise, though, that it's, you know what I mean? Like
but
the ending of, The Village or whatever, like M. Night Shyamalan's. How do you even say his last name? Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Yeah.
No, but
he kind of lost it. His last movie that he did was not very good. But what was the last movie he did that was really good?
I want to say.
What is it?
Glass was pretty good.
I enjoyed
Unbreakable
it. But they didn't really have any like. Well, I guess they did kind of have like that thing, but
he's got his own style, and
he's made a lot of good movies though. So you can't really,
Yeah.
I mean, some directors only make one good movie.
Some people would say the same thing about Tarantino. They'd be like, his movies are garbage, and it's like, all right, so you're not into it. That's fine. And like,
you don't like his kind of movies. Sure, you're gonna think his movies are garbage, but like, he's never made a bad movie.
Well, some would say Hateful Eight was probably not someone that might be into westerns might not like Hateful Eight, for example. Or I've heard a couple people say bad things about
Django Unchained.
The Django Unchained was excellent. If you don't, if you have a problem with that, I don't know.
Well, I have a problem with hearing the N word like a million times, but
yeah. But the like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think was it?
Oh, people got really upset over all the
feet,
the violence towards women in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it was an amazing movie, and you're just like, what the, every every Tarantino movie has a scene where you're just like, what am I watching? How did they get this past the the editors,
what the hell,
the censorship,
general what the hell vibe.
Yeah.
But
not at like a hostile level though, because like I don't like those kind of movies.
Yeah.
The really, I know you don't.
Gore,
extreme gore does not please me in the slightest, and neither does just mindful destruction like. Superman versus Batman, and just the building after building. Like why render it? Like you can just make it the story. Like we get it.
Half the Michael Bay shit.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like any of that. All the Transformers movies to me, I can't determine what's going on.
But that's my point is that you can poke holes in any.
The Bumblebee movie was good though. Did you see the Bumblebee the relaunch one? That was
Yeah.
actually pretty decent. And that actress. Who played the female lead is a really nice, I like her. She's
Again,
good.
I used to.
Isn't she the girl from Hawkeye?
Oh, Haley. Oh gosh.
Steinfeld or Steinfeld?
Hold on.
I'm horrible with names, so I barely got mine and yours down.
I used to be so good at that. Darn it. Haley Steinfeld.
Oh, she was from Bumblebee?
Kate Bishop. I believe so. Let me find out.
Okay.
Let's see. Bumblebee movie. Let's see.
Yeah.
Bumblebee.
Because Jamie Foxx was in the one. Wasn't she in one of the Transformers movies?
I was about to type in Bumblebee tuna.
Yeah.
Bumblebee movie.
Chicken of the sea.
Yeah, she was Charlie Watson.
All right. Just making sure.
Dylan O'Brien was in it. John Cena was in it. Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime.
Yeah. Yeah, I like John Cena now, but only because of his superhero movie.
Because
show.
of Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. Yeah, that was great. You saw all of it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I was really glad when that came on because, like, at that time, there was nothing, like, even close to that entertaining on. Like, The Boys is really good, but The Boys isn't out yet. So it's like Peacemaker was like, oh, okay. Like, you know, I could skip a whole bunch of shitty DC movies now because Peacemaker
Peter Gunn, man.
Yeah.
Peter Gunn, he makes some good stuff. And the I was going to say, like, talking about Village and Alice and stuff like that, The Northman. And
you said it was amazing.
Everywhere, Everything, All at Once, the A24 production with Michelle Yeoh was.
Isn't it A24?
I said A24.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, A24. And
hey, Jenna comes live. Hey, Jenna.
I'm happy. We just turned a corner here. We got a new member of the crowd.
9:30 might actually happen thanks to Jenna.
Nicole was jumping in, and that was a pity play, and I appreciate her for jumping in. But
she wanted to see her daughter.
I was gonna say she's the.
I don't need to see Ben anymore.
Yeah,
I know what he looks like.
But it's been a sausage fest here. We appreciate one more voice in there. Michelle Yeoh is awesome. Yeah, that movie I would recommend. But I was talking like with the tie-in to, like you mentioned, The Village, and I was talking about Alice, like dealing
That's
with
another kind of one. It's close to it.
But dealing with the concept of, just beautifully shot, like, jarring movies. Northman was
Was it as good as everyone said? Cause
fantastic. I like it's got some gory parts to it. Like, it's the Vikings, so I mean it's got some looting and pillaging.
Did it show them taking mushrooms and stuff?
Yep.
They did. Okay.
Yep. But it's
a lot of people don't know that Vikings used to get like super high on mushrooms and just start murdering.
That's how they commune as well with their gods and stuff like that. They get in some messed up states.
Jody's here. Wow! I've been talking about Jody now for weeks, and she shows up. Yay! Live.
Yep. Michelle Yeoh was Shang-Chi rather, and Ten Rings. Yep.
Jody, is Manny watching too?
Hi, Jody.
Jody and Manny are old friends of mine.
Awesome.
From back in the high society BBS days, we used to hang out and World Link chat.
We were just talking about
people.
BBS.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, talking.
The call finally getting through. They sensed they're like someone speaking of BBSs.
Yeah.
Ooh. I wonder if we learn about mushrooms next year when we study the Vikings. You may. Well, although it depends on what sources you're using as well, because there is the popular version of the Vikings, and then there's the reality of the Vikings. So it depends on what sources you're looking at. Some people, there's a lot of that stuff, as with a lot of topics that you think you know. Like that's one of the things is that I the Viking culture and all that stuff. Dealing with.
Did you watch the TV show, the Vikings TV?
No,
show?
I hadn't.
I watched a little bit of it.
I heard that
I just couldn't get into it.
Well, there's some things about some cultures that just people say, no, we're not going to talk about that. They just forget.
Well, they showed everything on that show though, like rape and murder and killing family members and
so probably not
the religion and stuff.
Not super entertaining, I'm sure. But
well, no, I mean, if you're into murders and stuff.
Not the washed over stuff. There you go, Jenna.
Yeah.
So Jenna is a homeschool mother. She has
awesome.
2 children that she homeschools.
Congratulations, Jenna.
Which the connection between the fact that Jenna exists in my world and that you, Ben, exist in my world and that you guys are that connected through me makes me really happy.
You put Jamie on a timeout on the chat? If he did it, it wasn't on purpose.
Nope.
No, we never did. It's just Dad Inc. and then Tuck ? Was the last time we saw something.
That's weird. Oh, maybe you wrote Tuck and it thought you meant something else and then I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
No, sorry about that, Jamie.
Jamie has to use his real account.
We love Jamie.
Oh, we would never do that to Jamie. We want Jamie on the show more, not less.
Yeah, for some reason it put Dad Inc. on chat timeout. Is there a way that I can make you a moderator? Add moderator? Let's do this. I'll make that a moderator. And I'll make
Jenna,
Dad Inc. a moderator. I'll make Jenna a moderator.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that until just now. So we'll add you as a moderator. And then we'll add Davey as a moderator.
We're the only show that makes everybody in the channel moderator.
If you show up, you might become a moderator.
Yeah, I've known Jody a while. You'd make her a moderator, yeah.
Head moderator. Jody, have any interest in being a moderator?
Yeah, sure. Who knows how long she'll be there?
Okay, let me.
So your son Zimmer went and saw Northman. I gotta see it. I don't know when I'm gonna see it.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, you know what? We haven't told everybody what we're doing Friday.
No, we haven't. Because I forgot for a little bit myself. Actually, you know what? I'll just stay on this account, so at least I have my name. There you go.
Yeah. So Matt,
until you want to make a
sent me a text.
Man, baby, YouTube.
Was I interested in going to a monster truck show? And I'm like, of course I want to go to a monster truck show.
It's how many other people are coming with me is the question.
Yeah. So we're going to go down to Maryville, and we're going to go to a monster truck rally.
Now, it said Knoxville on the thing, but it says
just Knoxville, the area, but it's actually in Maryville. Well, just like we don't have an airport. You know what I mean? It's in Alcoa. It's not really here. So, monster truck. Some go, some blow, or something. And Izzy's going to come with us.
Friday.
So it's going to be you and I and Izzy, who doesn't like loud noises.
Is Nicole not going?
No.
Oh.
Go.
I thought she was going with us.
No,
so I got your ticket paid for, and
me and you. You, and I got Izzy. I got a ticket for Izzy because I didn't know where I would be able to find the free participating ticket at. And I didn't want to drive all over town. I'm like, I'll just buy her a ticket, and then we'll have the ticket.
If you get an adult ticket, it includes
it's free,
one free ticket.
But you have to go get a participating ticket. And I'm like, I'm not going to drive to Maryville to get a free ticket for Izzy.
Gotcha, I got you.
Yeah, so I just bought it. So not a big deal. More money for them.
Monster Jam in Atlanta. I found a copy of Monster Jam I had with Sergeant Slaughter
Nice.
VHS kid on YouTube. It was awesome. Yeah,
I really enjoyed the cross synergy that Sergeant Slaughter was able to do with WWF. The most, the coolest thing ever, and G.I.
Joe, right?
Yeah,
and there's
monster trucks.
I'm going to research that because there's an interesting story there that I can barely remember, and I wouldn't do it justice trying to bring it up. But there's an interesting story with the Sergeant Slaughter likeness in WWE between the three of them.
Okay, now help me now. Was a Rowdy Piper also in G.I. Joe? Was there like a character that he represented, or am I just crossing my?
You might be with Hulkamania. Okay. Hulkamania had the cartoon with
and Roddy Piper was on
Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan and Junkyard Dog and
Roddy Piper was my favorite wrestler from back in the day, and then I think him being in They Live obviously has a huge influence.
My brother Dan is writing and making a list of the movies and TV shows that he wants to get as a DVD collection, and
Blood,
They Live is on the
gears,
list.
Jamie said.
Blood, Sweat, and Gears. Nice.
Yeah,
I will. I'll look that up.
Wasn't there a refrigerator? Or that Refrigerator Perry?
Refrigerator Perry was
he a G.I. Joe or was he a wrestler? Dun, dun, dun.
No, I want to say that there was a. Maybe I'm thinking Bo Jackson or something like that. It was in something else. Yeah. No, Fridge in I'll have to look that up.
It's like we don't know.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Refrigerator Perry. I remember the guy.
Yeah. Junkyard Dog. He was another guy that I really liked. See, Stone Cold. See, like I can't have that as a favorite because like I stopped after like the 80s. I fell out of love with wrestling.
Refrigerator Perry was a G.I. Joe character.
All right. Not a wrestler.
Let me see here.
Okay.
Physical training instructor. Well, okay, I'll do this at least. Hold on one second. So this is according to let's do some fun stuff.
Okay.
You know what? I said we weren't going to do it. We didn't need it. Whoop. Nope,
Okay.
that's me. That's the wrong one. Get rid of that one. Where are they?
You guys look how high tech we are. Look at this.
Boom, boom, boom.
There we
There's
go.
That. And then get rid of these guys. Whoosh. There you go. That's
there he is. I remember him. Yeah, I had.
1987, The Fridge, physical training instructor, mail order. Fridge was available on mail order offer, packed with specially marked 1987 figures seen here, based on an NFL star, former Chicago Bear defensive lineman William Refrigerator Perry. And came in a little package with Cobra Commander.
So are they 3D printing G.I. Joes now? Like 3D printing the parts?
Look at that. You even got the thing on the back.
Kind of looks like Mike Tyson, though.
Mike Tyson should have been in G.I. Joe.
Oh,
absolutely.
He should have. Well, yeah, no, he was old.
3D printing.
It's amazing.
Action
now.
figures.
Yeah.
You should be able to.
They're just because they're just parts and they're assembled.
Yeah.
At Abby's birthday, Abby's 11 now, and she had her bowling alley birthday, and one of the kids who came, his dad, not going to name the kid's name. His dad, though, is really into 3D printing now, and he just got into it recently. And I don't know if he had any prior experience doing this stuff, but he was showing me stuff. And I think he said his printer was $330. So not one of the cheap ones at like $200, but still $300 is super cheap. And he's showing me these figurines that he did, and they were amazing. Like a really, really good quality. Now, they weren't painted or anything. They were like green, I think. But still, I mean, that awesome just blows me away that like you can just download. Because like he got the data files from Hero Forge. You know, he made the character in Hero Forge.
Yep.
And then he got the whatever the prints, and then he just printed it. He didn't have Hero Forge do it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did with the first couple of characters that I had, the miniatures that I had. I never really got involved in miniatures, and then of course Hero Forge was never around when last time I was into gaming. But since coming to Knoxville, I was in a group. And one of them said, "Yeah, there's a local guy that does the 3D printing." I'm like, So I looked up. I made a couple of characters, so I ended up having it done locally. Was
that the Pixel Game Company?
Yeah, Pixel Games. Yep. And they had a lot of 3D printed stuff like dice towers and everything, and Pokemon stuff.
Have you seen the
holders.
dragons? Like they're 3D printing these dragons, and like all the pieces come together and stuff. It's really amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't recall off the top of my head.
Okay.
But yeah, like that's leading into what we were talking about earlier about we really got to get our act together and jump into the community and like but we're starting to learn a whole bunch of really cool people that do some stuff and
well, even like incorporating remote locations. That room.
There's that.
The really, I don't know. I guess it's the nice room at Sci-Fi City. You know, the one that's all glass and stuff like that.
The porch or patio.
Is that, I mean, dude, you're telling me we can do a show there? We absolutely could do a show.
We absolutely could. Yeah.
We do a show in the garage, in the office. We do a show in the basement, in the bunker.
Well, I mean, you and I could do a show with just the phone and like out in somebody's yard if we wanted to. Like,
but we're putting a little pizzazz on it now.
Sure, but I'm just saying, like, we can do it. So, all right. Let's see. We covered the. Is there anything else that you had on the docket that we were going to talk about?
No, I had four things. Yeah, I had four things I wanted to talk about. We talked about them all. There's nothing that I mean, I don't see us going until 9:30 tonight, but
yeah, I was going to say it's a short show because we really talked about a heck of a lot, and we had a guest on top of that as well. Pretty cool.
Oh, I discovered we have the beginnings of peaches on our peach trees.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Which is really cool. Yeah.
3D printing is a very cool thing that's becoming more common now. Like
getting cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah.
Basically,
we certainly want to feature.
It melts filament, and that's how it prints. So if you think about like a laser printer, is the toner gets put on the paper, and then a laser burns it on the paper, and that's how it makes the mark. 3D printers just like melt stuff, and that becomes the thing.
And a great thing to teach the kids, by the way, about a little bit of technology now and then to say like, here's this cool thing that exists. Like if you're teaching.
Our peaches were actually planted like 3 years ago when we first moved here. So this is like the third year. We didn't get anything the first 2 years, and we had a lot of late freezes, and that's one of the things that you have to think about. When you're picking varieties of fruit trees on your property, don't pick anything that fruits real early. You want things that will come to season later in the season, so that late spring frost doesn't kill your flowers and your buds and stuff. You want it to flower up later. So
something you'd never know unless.
And then a lot of areas you just can't do stuff like it's not impossible to have apples in Florida, but apples need so many chill hours. So the most varieties require a certain amount of chill hours that you're just not going to get in Florida. We're in Tennessee; it gets a lot colder here. So like we've quadrupled the amount of varieties of apples that will do well here, but they don't really do well here. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that do well here without a lot of work, and we want to do stuff that doesn't require a lot of work.
The South definitely has some interesting planting that you can do down there. Like
Florida is amazing if you get to like Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and you can grow year round because they don't have the same seed. Like it's so weird.
There's something to be said
it's
with
tropical.
there's something to be said with like a hardy, like a northern, growing.
Well, that's where all the
plant.
best apples are.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's also spinach. You can grow spinach in the summer up north. You can't do that here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too hot. Now I do know some amazing people. He's actually going to be a guest on our show. My good friend TJ, he has the Vuk Farm, and that's a biodynamic farm. And he does all sorts of really interesting things on his farm. Like he grows lettuce all summer long, and I can't grow some. But his setup and what he's figured out is that he can produce lettuce greens all year round in his hoop houses and stuff. And he's got all sorts of really interesting biodynamic stuff that I'm not even going to get into. But it is
T-Square,
really
what's up, buddy? Banjo.
Hello.
So, all right, I'm glad you brought that up, the biodynamic. So, I want to let people know, because it's a new thing to me as well. I think we are going to grow veggies in pots this year. Nice.
Go, do it, yeah. Get fabric pots.
So there's interesting concepts that we want to cover on 3231. And dealing with some of the stuff, like there's stuff that I'm not necessarily into that Ben is into, but I'm super fascinated by what Ben is into. Talking about permaculture and dealing with let me put it to you this way. So I mentioned the Venn diagram sort of thing. Like I have a circle of my interests. Ben has a circle of his interests, and our circles interconnect in a lot of different areas. A lot of other people may not be what I'm into or what Ben's into. They may be their own thing, but there may be a connection there that kind of meets all three of us at the same time. It's a great thing about having a community and the different perspectives. You learn about different things. But one of the things that you have to keep an open mind, a very important thing when you're learning about certain things, when people are passionate about their stuff. I want to emphasize that a great deal. So there are some things that people are into, like numerology is a good example. Like Ben's into conspiracy theory. I'm not necessarily into conspiracy theory, but I do enjoy hearing about it because there's interesting things that you can get from that. I was going to bring up transhumanism, which tonight, considering we kind of talked a little bit about technology and how people use technology. So I think we're going to do a future show about transhumanism. I was reading a little bit about that, which is basically the idea of going beyond the human capacity, the human limitation with technology and becoming something more. And at what point do you stop being human?
So like Neuralink and...
Yeah, simple things like, say, a pair of glasses. If I can't see a certain thing, but my glasses help me see, or if they're like
becoming a cyborg and
women wearing makeup. That's something that they can change.
Does.
Exactly, they can change their appearance to emphasize certain things to make things possible. You and I have been on prescription medication, which can block some of our limitations or bypass some of our limitations, so we can be in society more. Transhumanism is an interesting concept that I want to bring up.
Oh, absolutely.
And like you're dealing with things that are outside the normal conversation, like numerology. People believe that there is power in numbers. I believe there's power in words, in the way that you use your words. So why not have there be power in numbers? Now we're talking nerding. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to get
astrology. I mean, astrology, numerology.
Did y'all see the self-driving cars in Phoenix? Not in Phoenix.
I know that Phoenix was an area where they were testing self-driving cars. I haven't seen anything like recently about it. I'm all for self-driving cars as long as all the cars are self-driving. I'm not going to have a self-driving car if 90% of the people driving around me have control of their vehicle. That doesn't make any sense. But if they just passed a law that every car has to be self-driving by 2040 and there's a network set up where accidents just don't happen anymore. I mean, the system we have now is great if you want independent thought and you want to be able to control your vehicle. But in the grand scheme of things, when all the cars are self-driving, you're just going to pull out your phone and press a button and a car shows up and you're going to hop in and then you're going to go somewhere that's going to shoot you at a high speed to go to Spokane, Washington for lunch, and you're going to go 900 miles per hour in a vacuumless tube called the Hyperloop.
Never touching the steering wheel.
Exactly. You're going to listen to Joe Rogan, his 90th birthday party, and then you're going to be at your place and you're going to get charged 40 cents or something for that ability.
Michael Knight did it. There you go. Exactly.
Shit.
So there's a lot of different interesting things that we're going to discuss, and I definitely would like to cover. But one of the things there are some things that Ben has said that at first I'm like, come on, But
Lots of names.
but honestly, keep an open mind because it's something, at the very least, something entertaining. But there are people that really think that there's something to it, and we should absolutely open our minds to different possibilities.
The thing that occurs to me was we actually did have like a Reiki healer on our second season shows, and they explained that, and I get it, and I understand what it is, and there's some people who are really, really into that, and that's great. That's their thing, and they're all about touch healing and putting that intent out there, and Reiki really goes. I even seen where a Reiki for your pets. They do Reiki healing on like animals and livestock and stuff like that. So
there are people that, like I said, you're introducing the conversation, and that's what we want to focus on, is introducing different conversations. So keep an open mind. If it's something you may want to check out, then we'll certainly do that in the future. But like we can at least agree that everyone's considered science or like magic to be unexplained science. Like the idea of that there is more out there than our limited perception.
Well, we can't see, but like 3% of the available wavelength of light. So like all these like radios exist. You can't see them, but they do exist. So like back in the day, wasn't that kind of like a magic that you could send a voice signal from here 100 miles away? That's magic.
Yep. And certain ideas like the like you were mentioning, not astral projection. What was it?
Remote viewing.
Remote viewing, and stuff like that, where you have dreams, you have visions of things that exist elsewhere, and sometimes it works. There are some times where you could have the same frequency. You could be on the same frequency. Like I've been with my brother, where we said just watching something on television, and then somebody says something, and Dan and I say the exact same thing at the exact same time. So I mean, like there are some instances of some weird and unusual things.
Most of the time they're coincidences, but so I mean, you think about your friend and he calls you.
Yeah.
Like how many friends do you have? You know what I mean? Like you've probably known hundreds of people.
There was one time that I started singing a song randomly, and I turned on my phone and or I put on my headphones or something like that, and hit Spotify or whatever, and it was at the part that like it matched exactly when I started singing. So different things like that. Wasn't there recently a hologram they sent to the ISS? Oh, that's interesting. Yes, I did see that.
Yeah.
They sent the
space program is also a huge interest of mine. I know you share some of it. I go bonkers though. I mean, I'll go, especially with the asteroid colonies.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna bring up some weird shit, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I remember one. I don't know if it wasn't my first year at permaculture convergence in Florida. Maybe it was like my second. And somebody said something, and then all of a sudden I got super obsessed with permaculture asteroid colonies made out of mycelium mushrooms, and that we could actually like colonize the asteroid belt by simply seeding it all with mushroom spores and letting them like make colonies for us.
And we've had
sounds good.
We've also had discussions about like kind of 3D printing asteroids, but in reverse.
Yeah,
setting up something that actually
hollows
out an asteroid to fit the different. Again, different perspectives, different ideas, different concepts that people can at least have a discussion about. Jenna says, "I have deja vu often." Yeah, then it'd be cool to explain some of those stuff. Like it's interesting. So Ben and I have talked a little bit about having discussions about magic, having discussions about the power of belief.
Yeah, New Age and occult matters really, I think, would be like a better way to describe it.
New Age for sure.
Yeah. There is a wonderful podcast that I'm listening to. Hold on, I'll get it for everybody so they can listen too. And it's a local person here in Knoxville. I'm actually friends with her on Facebook. And it's called, everybody can find it. It's on Spotify, and I'm sure you could look. It's called The Astral Hour. And she talks about, energy work, the Akashic Records, Shaolin Kung Fu, Tai Chi. I mean, you name it. Has talked about like photographing auras, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to get her to come on and talk to us about some of this different stuff that she's interested in. But yeah, no, I mean, all that stuff. When I was younger, I was really into psychic energy and like crystals and pyramids and, you name it. We had a really cool store in where I grew up in Ohio. and they had like a workshop. And I remember it was like one of my first workshops I ever went to as like a young kid. And I think like my mom just like dropped me off at this person's house. Like we didn't know anybody, and like nobody was there, but the door was unlocked. So I went into this house and like hung out until people started showing up. And then it was like a meditation workshop, and they taught us, you know, like proper ways to meditate and just be like receptive to energies and stuff. And, you know, I had like an experience that happened, and like I had like a message that was told to me from whatever it was coming through. And it was that, you know, to like it was coming from a certain part of the room. And I guess it was like directed at those people, and it said that, you know, that they were going to die soon, like this energy was going to die soon, and it, you know, turned out that they had people that were like, I guess were almost dead.
Wow.
You know, they were, so that was kind of weird, you know what I mean? And then it's funny, I had another experience years later. I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 14, maybe 14, 15. No, 14. Yeah, I was young. So, and it was I felt the presence of my grandfather. And that he was okay, that I needed to not be worried. So I don't know if that means he was in heaven or, but I mean, I guess if he was in hell, probably he probably wouldn't have been saying he was okay, you know. But he was a Catholic, so
unless he's running things, unless
right,
got a cushy gig down there.
So so who knows what he's doing? But he was okay, so that was good. And you know who knows what that was? If it was really him, if it was part of my subconscious that was just trying to comfort me and heal me. But either way, I think
or if there's something that you detected and misinterpreted completely because
absolutely, I failed the role, I botched.
Yeah, you don't know what the brain can process. And
yeah,
like there was a discussion someone was saying the other day on TikTok. I think it was someone's like, they had a question. They're like, when your life flashes before your eyes when you're going to die, you're having a near-death experience. Is that your body accessing previous lives or future lives? And I said that when you are dying and you're leaving, like I put it as such like you're reconnecting with the network. You know, when you're opening,
it's buffering.
Yeah, like
it's kind of buffering. It's getting ready to send.
Your mind is a closed system.
Yeah.
And when you're about to leave, or your body is getting in a certain mode where it's going to depart, that you reconnect with the server, you reconnect with the network, and you may leave your physical form behind.
There are so many studies and science being done on consciousness and stuff like that it's just like, you know, wait and see, bud. Wait and see. They're saying, you know, your brain produces DMT when you sleep, and they think that when you die, your brain produces a super psychedelic drug, and that aids in your passing, you know, like evolution. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
You know, like imagine being eaten by a tiger. Like that's probably awful, but like your brain probably does something to help you. You know,
not be somewhere else.
Yeah,
distract you. Elsewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like we'll talking.
Let's see what the next dimension looks like.
Going back, talking about the North.
You're
stuff,
a baby.
The whole thing about Vikings going to Valhalla and what you experience and the how you live your life and that sort of thing. Like, there's some interesting stuff to cover, and I definitely would like to cover some of that.
Especially somebody pretty knowledgeable too, because we're pretty much amateurs when it comes to that stuff. But
and even in the practical sense of how to use certain things that other people may not be aware of, like numbers, like
we could try some experiments too.
Mantras and meditation and things like that. It's wacky and doesn't exist, and it's not everything exists. It's a conversation about the degrees in which maybe something may have validity. So Jenna says, I find it interesting that some say it is the circle of life. Babies crying because they came from someone who just passed. They cry because they remember, but as they age, they lose the memories. Or maybe just the shock of changing into a new life or something. Yeah,
or they weren't even human the previous life. They were like a cat, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say they're human?
Yeah, you're dealing with energy that gets put back into the universe, and it may be dispersed and reused. However, there's no one way to really acknowledge that. And I kind of I think about the same thing dealing with Pam, and everyone's like, I'm sure she's looking down watching you, and I'm like, no. I certainly hope not. Like,
she's playing DDO, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want her to be Pam anymore. She has so much more that she could do, and places that she could be, and things that she could be, and ways that she could be experiencing. and her life force, which was amazing, could be put into so many other life forms and so many other different places.
It'd just be weird if she was like just hanging out like at the rail.
I really
down.
don't want that to be the case.
No.
Like whatever I believe in, I don't like the whole idea of ghosts and stuff and people being stuck and
I think that's just people's energies like get stuck. Not that they get stuck, but just like, you know, especially if you had something really traumatic happen, like you were murdered. You know what I mean? Like you could see, like, you know, your consciousness psychically imprints itself.
oh, like a thumbprint or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe that. Yeah, maybe.
You leave some cookies from your web browser.
I would.
You know?
Hate, I would. Ben's gonna be hovering over his PC for a few millennia.
Oh yeah, we got to have some kind of agreement that if I die, you destroy all my computers, right?
Done.
Okay. All right, you guys heard it. Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm burning your house down. I'm saying
no.
something you never know what may
Just
happen.
those hard drives.
You never know what may happen.
Got drilled through. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's basically I wanted to present that to folks that they're
Yeah, Matt's announcing it. We're gonna have some shows that are gonna deal with I don't want to say paranormal. Let's just leave it at paranormal because that covers all of it.
Is like it's beyond the normal.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that paranormal means.
Yeah.
And it can mean it can be, like you said, metaphysical or spiritual new age or
we're not going to become ghost hunters, guys. We're not going to be Ghostbusters, you know.
Unless we get a shit ton of views.
But but totally, if you're in Knoxville and you're a Ghostbuster and you want to come hang out and like be on the show, I'd totally be interested in that as well. I mean, anybody who has anything like that, a tarot card reader. I mean, we can learn something.
Experiences or like a skill set.
You're a really good liar. I mean, just come on. Like it's all going to be entertaining.
Yeah. Well, no lying. Not lying.
What?
Necessarily. I don't want lying.
Every comedian's a liar.
But that's some fun things that we can talk about that I do want to let people know will show up. So.
I am Zool. Yeah.
There is no Tom, only Zool.
Did you hear they greenlit the next Ghostbusters?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, please. The Ghostbuster Force or Ghostbuster Squad or something like that. I heard they were doing like it's going to be a whole. Yes, please.
I hope they don't wait because it would be cool if the guys are still in it, even if they just have cameos and stuff.
What is her name? Well, while Jody says something, go ahead and respond to Jody there because she just spoke up and said something. So Jody, is it a man or a woman? Jody.
Jody is a woman.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Manny is a man.
I do know men named Jody, so that was one. But go ahead.
Jody says, I definitely want to be here for that because I've seen some strange things. Well, Jody, you could actually be on the show and we could see you and hear you and you could tell us about those strange things.
So the actress in question that I was trying to notice was of
Miley Bobby Brown from Stranger Things.
She's awesome too. But obviously, yes, Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and why am I blanking out? Ernie Hudson would be cool to feature them, but more importantly, and Paul Rudd too, because he's just dreamy. He's just dreamy. I want him in everything.
Yeah.
But Finn Wolfhard, sure, he's awesome. Sigourney Weaver, of course. The new kids, Logan Kim, who played
the kid from Stranger Things.
Ghostbusters Afterlife played. I forget his name. Played the kid, the Phoebe's schoolmate.
Oh, okay.
Podcast.
Yeah.
That was his name.
That's right. Podcast. Yeah.
But
Harold Ramis was a digital model.
He was fantastic.
Yeah. I want to know how much his family got paid for that because I know a guy.
Absolutely.
Who would actually like to be in movies again. His name is Don Amici, and he would love to be a digital model on your production, Fox.
Yep.
We'll even sign a contract. We'll sign a 3-picture deal, buddy. Come on, the graphics are there.
Cocoon 5. Whatever it is up to.
We'll do Cocoon 3.
But McKenna Grace is this young actress's name who plays Phoebe, the
female lead girl,
the granddaughter of Egon Spengler.
Yeah, I guess
If any of our audience that hasn't seen Ghostbuster Afterlife yet, what the hell's wrong?
No, it's been out for a while now.
Go see it, absolutely, yeah. But Phoebe, McKenna Grace, Phoebe, like she is a star, and I really hope that they do teenage Ghostbusters, and the original guys come back. Paul Rudd comes back, for sure.
You know what I actually would prefer? I think something at the level of Stranger Things TV show, but with Ghostbusters. and being like an Academy show where it's like an on-running, you know,
Yep.
multiple seasons of stuff. Because I don't know if you were a little bit older, but the Ghostbusters cartoon show,
There were two. There were the
the
real
real
Ghostbusters,
Ghostbusters,
and then there's the one that
was the Ghostbusters from the cartoon based off the show that were
Well,
not really the Ghostbusters, right?
Ghostbusters originally was a movie back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That hold on one second, because suddenly my voice is my throat.
Yeah, it was a show, and then they made a cartoon about it, and then they got the rights to make a new movie, but they didn't get the rights to do the cartoon or something crazy.
There was a super old black and white movie called The Ghostbusters, and when they decided that they were going to make this movie, they wanted to go with the name The Ghostbusters, and because there might have been a studio issue, they also were preparing to call it The Ghost Breakers. And they even filmed a lot of scenes where people would say Ghostbusters, and then they'd cut, and then they'd try to say, okay, we're going to do the same thing again, but everybody yelled Ghost Breakers or whatever. And they did that for almost the whole length of the production of the movie. But yeah,
because they didn't know if they were going to have the license or not.
Yeah. So there was a cartoon that they ended up making based off of the black and white movie, based off, you know,
it had a big ape in it, didn't it? It was like a purple ape.
Yeah.
That show was garbage. I'm talking about the real
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good.
It was really
and now I watched it as a child, and it just showed you what the continuation of Ghostbusters would be. And I think how they handled magic and like teleportation, and it was really cool.
The supernatural stuff.
It was very cool. Yeah, it wasn't just your traditional like, ooh, it's a ghost. You know, like they really did, like they added to the lore. They added to the lore and stuff like that. And it almost makes me kind of think of like how Mage the Ascension or Mage the role-playing game from White Wolf, World of Darkness, set the stage, like, you know, with all these really cool things that you don't normally think of as being supernatural and stuff.
Two of the voices in the real Ghostbusters cartoon, Winston Zedmore, played by Arsenio Hall.
Yes.
And then famous Frank Welker as Ray Stantz. Frank Welker, you would probably remember from a lot of different things. He was Bullwinkle. He was Garfield and a Smurf. He was Fred from Scooby Doo. He was in a lot of different shows.
Yeah, Tom wishes Rick Moranis had made an appearance. I agree. I really wish Rick Moranis would come back to Hollywood. He took time off to raise his family and then and take care of his wife. And I think she died, and now his kids are grown. And it's like, okay, Rick, it's time. You know, you need to do Strange Brew 2 for sure. You know.
5 people in our community know what that is.
Yeah, no, he was great.
Strange Brew for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the next Ghostbusters movie, it'd be kind of cool if
probably 2 years from now.
Yeah, it might be cool if he made an appearance.
I'm sure he's gonna be in that one. There's no way they're gonna throw so much money at him just to get him to be something.
Take off, you hosers. Let's call that a show.
That sounds good.
Had a great night tonight. Thanks everybody for coming in and hanging out with us.
Tom,
we appreciate it.
Jody and David and Jenna.
Now I can't stress this
Jamie.
enough. You let me know if you guys are available, but every Wednesday at 7 p.m. we want to do this. So we'd like having the crowd, and we're glad that everybody showed up.
Saturday, we might be broadcasting the show on Facebook.
Yeah,
if we can get it to not be crap.
That's something we're considering as well. This is ever changing. We're growing and trying to find out what we can do. Let me do this right now. I want to do something
like a midweek show on YouTube, and then Saturday for like an hour and a half. We might try doing this on YouTube Live and just see, because collectively Matt and I have a much bigger following on Facebook than we do on YouTube. So, you know, YouTube, there's only like 100-something subscribers that notified when we go live. Ooh, hello everybody.
Sorry. Continue.
But I mean, we promote it, you know, the best we can, and really, I mean, it's replays that most of the bulk of the video is watched on. And also, we know we're going to start stripping the audio out of this show and actually making it available as an actual podcast. So you'll be able to find that on Oh,
starting a poll. Would you watch us on Facebook Live?
yeah.
Moving on up. Yeah, we're the always trying. Bob and Doug McKenzie. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Always trying.
Jody was the one. She was the one who knew.
Always trying to add and change and figure out what works best for the audience. Yeah, but Ben and I were talking about, like this. We're so new at this. We should try all avenues and see what works. And you guys have friends on Facebook, so
We might even do a topless show.
No,
Okay, well, I'll be topless. I don't have a problem.
I'll be disabling Ben's camera for the sake of all.
It's just a
humanity.
kitty head. That's it.
For
Yeah.
the no shirt, but
It's just a
and a
kitty
kitty
head?
head.
Oh, dude. I'll do TikTok dances.
Hey, you doing? I'm Ben. Don't you want to be my friend?
Yeah.
323 runs all about friends. Let's be friends. All right, but thank you guys very much for showing up. And did everybody decide yes?
It's 100% yes that they'll tune
100%
in on a
yes.
Saturday on YouTube Live.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All
And if
right.
it doesn't work out, it was one show, Thank you, everybody.
So we'll end the
Thank
poll
you,
right
Abby.
there. That's 100%. Thank you to our guest, Abigail, for joining us. We appreciate it very much. Look at that. 3 votes for yes.
Okay.
So Saturday, let's plan on that Saturday, having folks on Facebook Live 7 p.m. Tom, Jody, Davey, Jenna.
Maybe Manny, a.k.a. Bat Duck, will be here.
Bat Duck.
A Bat Duck, yeah.
Awesome.
He had a great handle. He was quite funny.
To all the folks that have joined us, we appreciate you so much for hanging out with us for a little bit. And we're also on TikTok, all over social media at 3231. So follow us if you haven't followed us yet. Tomorrow, the reason why we're also going to end this a little bit early is because I got to get up at the crack ass of dawn. The ass crack of dawn is what I meant to say. Get a coffee, head up to Clinton to go to a doctor's appointment. So I'll be on TikTok early in the morning, hanging out with folks. But yeah, we'll be back Saturday night on Facebook. And then, of course, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. right here on youtube.com/3231 or youtube.323.1. And again, anybody that is watching this, maybe you're watching a replay, 323.1 is the website that you can go to link up with us all over social media. Good luck at the doctors. Yeah, I should be okay. I think I'll be all right. But I'll give you an update on that as well. Thank you, guys. Love you guys very much. Follow us if you haven't followed us already. Share the broadcast with your friends. Always nice to make new friends. And, of course, look us up on social media at 3231. But for Ben, I am Matt. Have a good night. Love you. Bye.
Good night.